all you media junkies out there, I invite you to spend some time with me. I'm Johnny Allen, and this is the Johnny Allen Podcast Show. This is the Johnny Allen Podcast / Videocast Show. You can see me on Facebook and YouTube under the same title, Johnny Allen Podcast Show. Welcome to Valentine's Eve. Usually I say Friday Eves, but this is Valentine's Eve. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. What are you going to do for your sweetie on Valentine's Day? I'm going to tell you what I do with my significant other, Miss Barbara. It's nice. It's nice to be able to have a Valentine. If you don't, try to get one. If you don't, still enjoy it. Anyway, what Johnny Allen does on Valentine's Day. Normally, I'll get a card, one rose. Used to do the dozen roses or whatever. Sometimes maybe 2 dozen in a rare extreme. But the card, a rose, it may be your favorite chocolate, maybe not. But we're doing a Valentine's breakfast because Valentine's Day is on a Friday. I have band rehearsal on a Friday, which is fine. We negotiated it first because, the missus does come first. And she said, that's fine. I said, I tell you what, we'll go out for Valentine's breakfast. So that's what we're going to be doing. So comment below. Let me know what you're going to be doing. I'm kind of curious. And do we overdo Valentine's Day? Do we overdo a lot of things, really, is the question. And it's kind of funny. I actually heard a news program this morning talking about Valentine's Day. And you would never guess what the most requested thing is on Valentine's Day. And you're thinking, it's the hanky-panky, John. It's the romance. It's the, No, not really. You know what mostly the women want for Valentine's Day? Guys, listen to this one. Better communication. Better communication. Go think it, right? Who thought of it? Better communication. I talk about that all the time. Not just on Valentine's Day, not just with your significant other, but with everybody you come in contact with. It's better communication. Better communication all the way around is what we need. So I agree with them on that. They don't care so much about the flowers and the roses and the going out to eating and all that stuff, the dinner and the wine and all whatever. They like that, but they want communication. And they say communication in general, communication when it comes to, what you do on Valentine's Day sometimes. So anyways, communication. That's it. Bottom line, communication. Wow. What a concept, right? Communication. Concept. Always remember that. Good communication is the key when it comes to just about anything in your life. Communication, commitments, trust, emotions, all these things kind of run together. And that's what I'm going to talk about today on the Johnny Allen Podcast / Videocast Show. So anyway, let me know, comment below what you do. You do anything for Valentine's Day? Is it a big deal to you? Is it not a big deal? I'm just kind of curious what your comments are with that. I like Valentine's Day. We don't make a huge deal of it anymore, like a huge deal. We just want to recognize our love for each other. And like I said, we do what we do normally. I might just tell her, I said, pick out a different restaurant that you might want to go have breakfast. So we picked that out, a place we don't usually go. Kind of make it kind of special. That's the thing. And recognize, communicate with your significant other. Let them know how much you care about them. And don't get, basically don't get used to or whatever. Not used to, but what I'm trying to say is don't take things for granted. Don't take your significant other for granted. Show appreciation. All those kind of things. So how's your week been? My week's been pretty good. It's been kind of tiring this week, though. I'll be honest with you. A little worrisome, which I'll talk about worry here in a minute. And, concerning, draining. I guess my week's been not so good this week. So it's just been it's been actually a lot of irons in the fire for Johnny Allen, which I talked about that before. And I'll touch on that again today on if you have too many irons in the fire. Okay. So, but anyway, the week has been a little bit different. I've had some things come up with the family a little bit. Nothing major, I don't think. But just some things that people I'm concerned about, all that kind of stuff that I'm always concerned about and hoping that they're doing okay. A lot of changes going on with people in my family. A lot of things are happening. So we'll just see how things turn out. But basically what I'm trying to talk about here, or what I want to talk about rather, is worry. Should we really worry about things? In other words, Valentine's Day, should you worry about what you're going to get your significant other? Oh, I got to hurry up and get to the store and buy these things. I need to take her out to dinner. I need to do this. I need to do that. Blah, blah, blah. Should we really worry about all this stuff? I feel like no. We worry about way too much. Way too much. It's a stressor. It's a killer. It'll send you off to an early grave. And I think that's a lot of problem with a lot of people. Is a problem, rather, with a lot of people, is worry. We need not to worry so much, guys, because listen, the bottom line is we really don't have control of our life anyway. We think we do, but do we really? Not really. I'll use some examples. We plan on doing stuff. You make out your plan. You might make out your plan for your life. You want to go to school. You want to do this. You want to become this. You want to do this for a living. You want to be married at a certain age. You want to have kids. Blah, 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 down the road. So you plan. And I'm a planner. There's nothing wrong with planning. But do you really have control of every step that you plan? You write it all down. Does it fall into place? Does it fall in where it's supposed to? Usually, no. It does. It does not. And that happens probably 8 times out of 10. Nothing is going to go exactly to plan. Nothing. So should you worry about it? No. You know, I strive to be out of debt. I strive for this. I strive to back that. You know, and a woman told me the other day I worked with, she said, John, you're never going to be out of debt no matter how much. I said, well, yeah, I want to be out of debt. I'm going to have bills, but I'm going to be out of debt. She said, John, you'll never be out of debt till the day you die. There's always going to be something come up or you're going to need to pay for or take out a loan or something like that. And we kind of were butting heads a little bit about that. I said, well, no, you can get out of debt. And she said, no, you can't. You're always going to be in debt. And she says, I just given up on the idea of being totally out of debt because I just faced the facts that I'm never going to be totally out of debt. So why should I worry about it? So that kind of stuck in my brain a little bit. I thought, well, you know what? She might not be so off on that. It's good to get out of debt and try to keep your budget in reason and all this stuff. But she might be right about that. There's always something coming up unexpected that will cause your plan to change. So I'll have to give her kudos on that. And she says, John, just don't worry about it anymore. She's right. You should not worry about it. So we really shouldn't worry about things we have no control of. And really stop and think about it. What do we have control of, really? Do you really have control of your job? Unless you run your own business, but your own business can fail. But we were talking about this the other day at a band rehearsal. You work for an organization. They decide to do cutbacks. And people worry about, oh my gosh, I might get cut back. I might get cut. My job might be lost or eliminated, and blah, blah, blah. And I can understand it'd be a worry. You know, you need a financial rut, bind, what goes with that? You get in some trouble when you lose your income. Times can be really tough. But basically, what should you really worry about it? Because you know what? If you don't own that organization, you don't run that organization, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. You really have no control of it. You just got to take what they give you and try to adjust and move on the best that you can, right? So why should you worry yourself to death over, well, am I going to have my job or not? And I made the example of this. Basically, when you work for somebody else, it's like somebody who rents a house off someone. If you're renting a house and you're not buying a house, basically when you work, it's like you're renting their house. You are renting their house. So in other words, you go in, you don't own that building. You rent it. You go in, or actually they rent you. You go in, you do what you're supposed to do every day, and you get real comfortable with it. You think you get your furniture moved in and stuff. You think, oh, I'm living here. This is my place. Right? You get real comfortable with your job, and I'm not saying you shouldn't, but people do. They get real comfortable with their job and everything, and the next thing you know what happens is like, the leadership or the CEO or whatever the company decides, I need to let so many people go, and guess what? They don't care about you. Boom, you're gone. So you got all comfortable and everything. Guess what they did? They booted you out of your house that you were renting, and that's what they do to renters. If you're renting a house, you don't own it. If the owner decides, oh, I'm really going to do something else with the house, I'm going to sell it or whatever, guess what? You're out, no matter how comfortable you are. So should you really worry about that? Nah, you can't worry about those things. You have a health issue or something like that. God forbid you do. If you do, hopefully it's fixable. But sometimes it's not. And you know what? Should you worry about it? There's not really much you can do about it anyway. You try to take care of yourself the best you can, and things will happen. And nothing's guaranteed. The only thing that's guaranteed is death and taxes, right? And if you don't pay taxes, you just go to prison. So, but we're all going to go, like I'd say. And what sense is it to worry about all these things? And the examples I'm going to come forward with here that I'm going to share with you guys. It's like, okay, you guys know by now if you've been following me for a while. If you haven't, first time subscriber, thanks for liking and subscribing, by the way. Please do. But if you've been following me for a while, everybody knows I'm a musician, right? I've been involved in music since I was 8 years old, almost all my life. Had ups and downs, great dreams, aspirations, ambitions, whatever. And, some of them have been rewarding and some of them have not been rewarding. And have I had disappointments with it? Yes. And have I had disappointments lately? Yes. And I'll tell you, I'll give you examples. One of the bands I'm in is fully geared, ready to go. And we're just going to come off of a break in March and get back together and plan our agenda for the year. Okay, and that's a hopeful band. Crossroads Saints, up and going. Have a focus, a schedule, and the project has a agenda ready to go. The band sounds real good, but we're lacking one thing, and that's a guitarist. And we've had somewhat of a snafu on trying to get a guy or a gal to come in and do the thing. Well, the point is I'm trying to make, work with this. The point I'm trying to make is I've had like 4 guys that have said, oh, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do a little bit, and things have come up where they haven't been able to do it. So we had planned on, using an example, that certain dates and that we were going to do this, check it off our list, all down, right? And guess what? We've had to change them because, and no fault of our own, it's just these guys had good intentions, but they couldn't make it for some reason. Life gets in the way sometimes. So my point is I'm trying to make is, do we really have control of what we're doing? Not really. Things always come up to change the plan or the agenda on the list. That being said, I'm going to jump to the next thing I'd like to talk about when it comes to communication and relationships and whatnot is the trust factor. Okay, we touched on worry, right? We determined that we shouldn't worry about things because we really don't have control of it in the first place. So why worry ourselves, right? I know it's a human emotion that we can't help. It happens. I do it a lot. I've been accused of being a worrier, and maybe I am a worrier a little bit. But you try to tone that down. I try to as much as I can because it isn't healthy for you. Because like I said, the bottom line is we don't have any control. I see on Facebook all the time these tragedy things that happen. One moment, our daughter was in a really bad car accident. Things like this happen and are expected. You're just going to work and something happens. Boom. You don't plan it. You never plan these things. What I'm trying to say, we never plan these things to happen. Really good or bad, but really bad. But you don't plan on bad things happening. Sometimes good things happen too that we don't plan. You decide, okay, I'm going to just go buy a lotto ticket. And bam, you hit for $1 million or $2 million, $5 million, $20 million, $200 million. I mean, wouldn't that be wild? It would be wild, wouldn't it? And it's like, that's unexpected. I mean, I played lottery, but I never dreamed I'd hit it, and it hit it. So good things like that, unexpected, will happen as well. But we really don't have any control of our life is what I'm trying to say in a nutshell, guys. At the end of the day, we don't have control of what goes on in our life. We are just set on this journey, and we try to do the best we can. And what comes, and you just try to ride the waves as they come in. And so that leads me to the next thing. And then you're speaking of the lottery tickets. Next thing is trust. Now, who can you trust? Can you trust anybody? And you say, yeah, sure, John, I can trust these people. I can trust, everybody. And okay, here's the thing I'm going to talk about with trust. Okay, say someone says something to me in private, and they say, John, listen, the conversation's private. I just really would like for it to stay between you and I. Don't say nothing to nobody. And I say, okay, it's cool. So I think, well, you know what? Do I really need to do that entirely? I could share a little bit with someone I really trust. Never had any problems with before. Well, then someone that you really trust accidentally spills it to other people in a conversation or whatever. They don't mean to do that. And that's happened to me lots of times. And so who is really to blame, me or the person I trusted? Now I'll go back and put the blame on me in a way because I promised the person that I wasn't going to say anything, told me don't say anything to, that I wouldn't. And I did. So he or she couldn't trust me with the original conversation. So it's kind of weird. It's a domino effect. So they're trusting in me, and I'm like, okay, I'm trusting in somebody else to keep this under wraps, and they're trusting on that person that they leaked it to keep it under wraps. And the next thing you know, the whole damn world knows the thing they were talking about, right? That's just an example, right? So I feel like this with I've learned with the trust factor. No matter how much I trust a person, if someone else tells me, if the original person tells me, please keep this between you and I, you know what? I do that. I do that. I do that. No matter what, I'm not going to repeat it to no one. So you guys have to keep in your word, and that way you're safe. You feel really good about saying, yeah, this guy. Now the flip side of that is someone says, you know what, I'm going to tell you this story, but you got to keep it between me and you. I don't want to be put in that compromising position in the first place. So I might just, for now on, if I ever have that encounter again, which I'm sure I will, I might just tell the person on the other side that's talking to me and tell me this, that, listen, I can't guarantee that I can do that. So if I can't guarantee, then you maybe shouldn't tell me anyway, right? That's my thought on that trust issue. The other thing on trust is, say I was to hit one of these for big money. Would that be great? Yeah, it would be great. And this is kind of a fictitious scenario, excuse me, but I want to use it because it demonstrates trust factor. Say I was to hit one of these, for big money, all right? And I didn't believe in banks. I'm not putting it in a bank. I'm not doing that. But I don't want to keep the money at home. Say I'm getting ready to go on a trip for 2 years. I'm going to be gone for 2 years. I know this is way out there, but trust me where I'm going. Get the word trust. Trust me where I'm going with this. So anyway, I get this big lump of cash. Okay, huge lump of cash, right? 6 million, whatever. Just imagine big, tons of money. But imagine you don't have a bank to put it in, or someplace really safe to put it in. And say you can only give it to a person to hold on to it for you while you go away for 2 years and you come back. And you say, hey, listen, I'm going to give you $6 million. Hold on to this cash for me. I'm going to be gone for 2 years, but when I come back, I expect it all, not a penny short of all of it coming in. Now, how many people can you trust, people, really trust to do that in your life? And I may make some people a little upset with me, but I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to mention any names. I never do, but that's how many. Maybe that many, but for sure only this many people I can trust. Deuce. That's it. So anyway, think about that one for a minute. Okay, so you get a lot of money, you hand the cash to someone, and they'll hold it for 2 years until you come back for it. And they say, here you go, John. Here's your $6 million back. Blah, 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 blah. There you go. How many can you trust, people? Comment below. Some people say no one. I can't trust no one. Can you trust the banks? Can you trust the system? I don't, 100%. I don't. So anyway, that's just a thought, and it comes in with the whole thing with the communication and Valentine's Day and all that stuff, and being honest with people and committed. The last thing I'd like to talk about is commitments too. I'm going to talk about mention the wacky weather commitments. Commitments. Okay, when you make a commitment, be real careful before you make a commitment. And really think about it, because a lot of people are really nice and they mean well. Like I said with the trust thing, they mean well. Everybody means well. I don't think it's purposely done. Things come up, but called life gets in the way. Understand that. But if you make a commitment for something, try to stick with it. And if you can't, or you feel like it's foggy, like you might not be able to do it at all, you might just be honest with the person and say, listen, I was going to do this. I'm thinking about doing it, but I can't commit to it. I can't guarantee it. I'll just do it if I can. If I can't, I can't commit. Be honest. Honesty is the best thing. If you say, sure, I'll do it, I can do it, and then something happens, then it just is like, okay, it disrupts the people that you committed to. It disrupts. It's just a bad deal. And sometimes it can't be helped. And I got some good friends that have had to do that. And and life does get in the way. There is excuses sometimes for it, but try not to do it if you can keep from it. I will just be honest. A guy asked me the other day, he's wanting to start a band. I'm already in 2 bands. I already do this little podcast. I have a lot on my plate. Remember, irons in the fire. I got a lot of irons in the fire. I don't mind having a few, but you can have too many, right? So I basically just told the guy, I said, well, good friend of mine too, starting this band. He goes, I want you as a bass player. You're great and all that. I appreciate all that stuff. And I told him, I said, listen, I don't think I can commit, okay? Because he says, I understand you got this and that going on. And I said, that's exactly what it is. I got all these other things going on. And they're priority right now. Not that yours isn't, but I've already committed. I've committed to these other things. The 2 bands and the podcast. I've committed to them. Okay? So I said, but here's the thing I can do maybe if you give me a time. So I'm communicating with him honestly. And I'm communicating in general, but honestly. I said, if you give me enough time way ahead of time, I'll look at the schedule. I might be able, and if you're not doing a real long set list, and depending on the material, I might be able to fill in for you in a pinch. But as far as committing to a new band you're trying to form, I cannot do it at this time. So that's being honest, and that's being committed, and that's just being, and he's trusting in me, I said, but let me know, by no means shut down what you're doing. If you find somebody great that wants to be full-time, but if you don't, let me know way, 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 way ahead of time so I don't have anything else booked and ready to go. If you have any doubt in the first place that you can't do it, like I told him, I said I can't commit full-time to it. I told him right off the bat, I can't do it. If you got a one-off gig, I might be able to. It's just good to be able to do that because you put, people in a bind if you can't commit. And if you say I can commit, then say, yeah, I can do that. I'll do that. Sounds good. And then get out of it. And it's been more than one individual. And I love the guys that have done that to us. But, they just got other things going on. Just be straight with me in the first place, And I know they're just trying to be nice and all that. But what I get at, sometimes you can be nice. But you got to be honest, And I do appreciate the honesty when they can't make it. This is why. Okay, cool. We're all good. It's that communication thing again, like they talked about Valentine's Day. Your Valentine, communicate with your Valentine. Communicate at work. Communication is the key. Try not to worry because we don't have control of it anyway. Okay? We really don't have control of our lives anyway. We may think we do, but we don't. Things get in the way. People have to, drop out of their commitment, so to speak. Plans change. Things change. You have to adjust. You have to move on. You have to change things around. It's constant, no matter if it's a health issue at the house, issue in a relationship, a band, a project, whatever you're doing, there's always change. Like I'll use the example of the guys in the recording studio trying to open up a recording studio. Said, yeah, I'll be ready in January, first of the year. Got a setback. It should be ready in February. Had a setback, and now it's the middle of March. It's not their fault. Nothing they can control. Waiting on permits to be okay and things of that nature. So nothing ever goes according to plan. Not very often. I can count maybe on my one hand, maybe 3 times where something's just like gone right the way it's supposed to. I mean, flawless. And it's great when that happens. But it doesn't always happen, folks. It doesn't always happen. Anyway, how's your week going? Hopefully it's going good. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Be safe and have fun and don't be reckless and don't drink too much wine or whatever you're drinking. And remember, respect the one you love and communicate. One last thing before I go tonight. I do appreciate you guys joining in today and checking it out. Comment below on anything I talked about today. And like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. And you haven't done so, do so, because we got coffee mugs coming. I do promise that. Promise that for sure. I'm committed to it. It's just a matter of time. Anyway, so here's the thing. Back to what I'm talking about. Commitments. Don't worry. We have no control of our lives anyway. One last thing I want to end with, as I was talking about, is the wacky weather. The wackiness is going on. The weather has been kind of wacky. I don't know what it is. It's, we had Sunday, we had rain, snow, and then rain. Just like that. And a lot of snow, not just like a little bit of snow, a lot of snow. Today we've had rain, snow, little rain, snow. Same thing over and over again. It's going to be 27 degrees tomorrow at a high, low of 5, and then by Monday it's supposed to be 50. Only in the Midwest. This is wacky weather. I've never seen the extremes that quick. I was almost tempted to videotape it. I don't know why I didn't, but I would have videotaped it. It was like raining, and then just changed to snow really fast and dumped, and it got white. And by the morning, it was just wet. It was just rain again. And usually at night it gets colder, and it didn't. It's like it got warmer at night. It's just totally wacky weather. It's just, I don't know. It's bizarre. There's bizarre stuff going on in the world. But should we worry about it? I don't think so. And like I said, if you start getting a little bit of burnout, I think a lot of people get burnout this time of year, especially at work and everything like that. The holidays have been over with for a little while. And, and the weather's been, here in the Midwest anyway, it's been cloudy. They're kind of gloomy for days and weeks on end, it seems like. And I think everybody's just kind of catching up with people. So anyway, do what you can to stay upbeat. Do what you can to stay happy. Make sure, stay to your word if you can. Trust, have some trust. And if someone says something, honor that. Honor that trust for that person. Don't get caught up in what's going on and slip things out. Don't spill the beans or let the cat out of the bag. Let's just be careful how we do that stuff, okay? That's really all I got today, guys. I mean, it's kind of a short podcast today. Happy Valentine's Day. Have fun, like I said, tomorrow, and enjoy it. Enjoy life. I always say that, enjoy life. I really do. Because it's too short and things change, guys. You can be good one day. The next day, bad stuff can happen. And we don't wish for that by no means. But it can happen. And, it's just the way it is. So anyway, till next week, happy Valentine's Day. And I'll see you again next week on the Johnny Allen Podcast / Videocast Show. Guys, have a great weekend and take care. Be safe. You don't eat too much chocolate tomorrow or drink too much wine. All right. Happy Valentine's Day.